Hey guys, Josh Koch here. In this video, we're going to talk about how early you should set the wrist in the golf swing. All right guys, we have a special giveaway. I'm going to be giving away one of these Scotty Cameron limited edition putters. Stay tuned to the end. You won't want to miss this. All right guys, when it comes to a wrist hinge, we got two options. We can either set the wrist early, or we can have a lot wider takeaway and set the club at the top. My preference is to have the second one. So my preference is to have it a lot wider and let the club naturally load as it reaches the top of the backswing. Now, the reason for this is when we set the club early, this basically gets our arms and our hands active, and because of that, our body might not turn in the most efficient manner. The second reason is when we load it early or hinge it early, we're basically storing energy. And because that energy is stored, as we get further into the backswing, sometimes it will actually want to escape and throw itself out through the transition. What we want is we want a lot wider takeaway, okay, so that that club is loading naturally as we reach the top of our backswing. Now, it's loading because our body is completing its turn. The natural weight of the head is starting to basically load itself, and this is simultaneously happening as we're changing direction, okay? So, going back to the energy concept, we are storing the energy right through the transition, which is right where we want to, okay? And because of that, then as we're moving and we're opening and pushing off the ground, the energy gets thrown out right at the right time and creates maximum speed. Rory McIlroy is kind of a great visual that comes to mind when I watch him. He has that really early shift to the right. He's very wide, and then the club loads just at the end of the backswing, okay? So, that being said, we definitely want to have a lot wider takeaway with a lot later load, which will help our body move a lot more efficiently. All right guys, so we established that we want the club loading a lot later in the backswing, okay? Now how do we do that? So it's important to understand that in the first half of the backswing, we have to get our body turning. The wrist and the arms are very passive, and because of that, we want the club head swinging a lot wider, okay? So if we do it correctly, it will look something like that, okay? So that when the club reaches parallel to the ground, okay, now there's a lot of space between the outside of my right quad and the butt end of the club. If we were hinging it early, you wouldn't see as much space there. And that's actually a great way, if you're looking at your own swing on camera, to identify whether you have too much wrist set too early, okay? So a great drill to kind of allow you to understand this is we set up with a ball behind our club head, okay? And as we move back, we want to roll that club head back away from the target. Now, because we're rolling the ball back, it requires a little bit of momentum to get the club head swinging. As we create that momentum, we're trying to allow the momentum to wind us up and aid in the rotation process to the point where once we get to the top and the body starts to complete its turn, the club head, the weight of the club will actually start to load itself as we start to transition, okay? So now to understand that, I'm going to go back to my one hand drill, and you guys will see this a lot. I think there's a lot of applications for this. Grip the club all the way on the butt end of the grip, get it swinging, and throw it to the top, okay? Use your pivot to make sure that you're turning. I don't want you just throwing the arm. Everything needs to kind of move together. And what you'll find is naturally at the top, you'll feel the weight of the club head loading, okay? Now, for that to happen, your wrist has to be somewhat supple, okay? All right, so to recap, we want to roll the ball back away from the target using our body. Club shaft at parallel creates a lot of space between the right butt end of the club and the right thigh. And then the momentum we create from doing that, paired with the suppleness in the arms, will allow the club to naturally load very gradually towards the end of the backswing. All right guys, if you found that video helpful, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, as well as that notification bell. It alerts you every time I release new content. It also helps me, and because of that, I'm going to be giving away one of these Scotty Cameron limited edition putters to one of my subscribers once I reach 1,500 subscribers on YouTube. So like it, share it, comment it, do anything you can to help us hit that number as soon as we can.